Hello there, Vlad here. Welcome to CatPick Fridays, episode number 41. Last one of this season of, I don't know what rhymes with season of some, not treason, reason, I don't know. Season of reason. One of those. Once again, I'm joined by Mr. Richard Morgan. And Richard, do you think this is not the last episode of 2021? Wow, that was clunky.
Wait, do I think this is not the last episode of 2021? Unlikely.
That was so bad.
I don't understand the question. Wait, do I think this is the last episode? Do I not?
I'm not sure if I understand what I just asked you, so...
No,
just move on.
Answer,
let's pretend that...
The answer to the question was unlikely. But I also wanted to just very briefly comment on the beard that you grew for the intro there. I like that a lot. Very cool. The funny thing is, I have to admit to something as well. I've been trying to grow a beard for the past 2 weeks now, almost. I think about 10 or 12 days. Well, I always have this little bit here. But like, if I turn this way, look at that. That's like 10 or 12 days of hard growth. It's pathetic. So if Santa is watching this, can I also get a beard for Christmas, please?
Welcome to the beard talk of 2021. Yeah, I know the feeling.
Beards and Christmas cheer.
That should be a channel. By the way, thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, watching, listening. What are the other YouTube things you can do? And as always, this show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, obviously, Podbean app as well. And if there's a certain topic you're especially interested in, there's timestamps that you can jump to the thing you're most interested in. Though obviously the best way to enjoy the show is to watch it from the first second to the very last one. Just saying. I'm not biased saying that. Or maybe I am just a little bit. Last episode of the year. Do not worry, there will be some other stuff coming out on or like during the holiday season, I guess. We'll be taking like a couple of weeks off at least, I think. But I'm going to drop in some fun stuff for you to listen to while you recover from eating way too much. Because that's something I'll be probably doing fairly soon, in a week or so. Just actually like less than a week from now, I will be on my Christmas time break. So yay!
Sorry, yay!
How is it in Germany, like Christmas break wise? Because in Finland, like the Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve isn't technically a day off for everyone, but for most people it is, minus like grocery stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had to get used to the German rules because the German rules are different to the English rules as well, which I grew up with. So in Germany, you have the 24th, which is Christmas Eve, and that's kind of the main day that families get together, often in the evening, to exchange presents and to have food and stuff like that. But on the 24th, lots of people do still work, if it's a weekday. And this year it falls on a Friday, so I guess there will be quite a few people at work, and stuff like supermarkets will be open till early mid-afternoon or something. And then it all closes, and the 25th and the 26th are then national holidays. But because they're a Saturday and a Sunday this year, it could mean that people are back to work on Monday, the 27th of December, which is kind of unfortunate. In Germany, they don't push bank holidays which fall on weekends into the week, like they do, for example, in the UK. So
I see.
You can get unlucky in Germany. Like in Germany, if a bank holiday falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, you just lose it. Whereas in England, they will often push it to a Friday or a Monday. Because English people are cool.
Yeah, same here where like we don't push those days to Mondays or Tuesdays, anything like that. kind of sucks a little bit, but like next year again, like some of these days will be on Monday and Tuesday again. So
yeah, exactly.
And like being self-employed has its benefits because like I can just stay out of the office. Or actually, we're going to my mother-in-law's place as we do every single year. So I'm actually really looking forward to that.
It'll be cool to have some time off. But it's just been such a weird time, since COVID happened as well. Though it's like it doesn't feel that different. And of course, last Christmas was totally different to any other for me because we were stuck at home. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. I wasn't allowed to visit any family or anything like that. So it was different. This year, fingers crossed, if it stays like it is currently, we'll be able to visit the German family. So that's going to be nice if it happens. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finland is doing okay, but still, like, I don't know. Weird times indeed. Luckily, like, we're going there as, like, it's just a close family from my wife's side. And there will be a lot of kids and Santa might visit. Gotta say, I thought I was the Santa last year. I went to search for the Santa, and a few minutes later, the Santa was at the door. Like, my daughter, who was 2 at the time, so last year, just a bit over 2 years old, like, the first sentence, I really tried to modify my voice, and even so, like, within a few seconds, you were like, "Hey, that's Dad!" My cover was blown, like, right away. Like, for whatever reason, my brother-in-law's kids never recognize that it's him. My cover was blown within 2 seconds. So.
Well, I guess you need a better you need to go to Santa College. I believe there are such things.
Maybe he's taking like a Santa course.
So. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a good word play. Santa course, not clause, but course.
Ah, very good. Yeah, yes. I like it.
But yeah, where were we? Something about the show. Yeah, last year of the show, last show of the year, something like that. Can you tell I need a break? Because I can. We're going to talk about the Megadeth Dave Mustaine signature Gibson. It's out! Then there's an Epiphone 1961 Les Paul SG Standard, which actually comes with big Gibson pickups. It's cool. Harley Benton T-style guitars, and both of us have one. And we're going to talk about those in a second. Harley Benton practice amp digital modeling combos. Those words in some order that makes sense. And yeah, they just seem to be dropping out stuff every week now. And we also haven't talked about the Modal Effects Disruption modular pedal platform, I guess. I don't know what it is, how to call it, to be honest. Then, as you probably found out in the title of the show already, we are handing out our, let's call them awards. We are listing our top 5 gear releases from this year, both our personal ones, and for those who are watching on Facebook group CatPick Studios Elites, by the way, if you want to join, feel free to do that. It's a fun, closed group for the true sickos of CatPick Studios and CatPick Fridays. So feel free to join there. Yeah, we're going to dive into those. We both picked our 5 favorites from this year. And I have no idea what Rich picked. He has no idea what I picked. And we're going to see how many of those we can guess. And then later in the show, we are going to list our top 5 favorite Christmas songs. And I'm curious to see what Rich picks. A few of my picks will be ones that most people won't know unless they're Finnish. So we shall see. Yeah, all of that and more on today's CatPick Fridays episode, last of the year. And I think it's time to stop rambling and start gambling. I'm on fire
exactly.
Today.
Don't gamble, kids.
Let's start. last advice of the year. Yeah, recent happenings. Yep, as mentioned, Gibson and Dave Mustaine have officially announced the Gibson Flying V signature guitar. And it looks exactly like in the photos that had been out for months.
Yep.
And I think he played those on the tour as well. So
he might well have done, yes. But finally, it's out. And they've been teasing this on sites like Instagram as well. Kind of assuming that people didn't know what it was, but they were like posting Megadeth lyrics and stuff and the V, and yeah, people knew. But this is quite a cool thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the guitar looks good. Like this might be the first flying V I would be like interested in. I'm a fan of Megadeth and Dave Mustaine, I'd say. And this doesn't look like too metal to me. There's something classic about it. And I really, really like it.
That's what I also like about it. It's not a really kind of unique signature guitar in a way. It looks like anyone could play it, really. It looks like a signature V that people might buy who don't even know who Dave Mustaine is. And I think that's really cool because it has a much more universal appeal than a more crazy signature guitar might.
Yeah.
I also still think that Dave Mustaine is a very relevant player, a musician.
Yeah.
You know, despite being controversial sometimes. And I'm guessing this is going to sell well because it's decently spec'd. If you guys read the article there or find out about it online, it's spec'd quite well. And it's surprisingly, in my opinion, affordable for a Gibson signature model. $2,800. It wouldn't have surprised me if it had been twice the price, to be honest with you, based on some of the recent Gibson prices that we've seen. So that's kind of cool. I like it.
Yep. Nothing like too fancy with the specs. 25.5 inch scale, mahogany neck, 24 fret ebony fretboard, and compound fretboard radius. Oh, that's nice.
What does compound fretboard radius actually mean?
So basically it's around at the first frets, and then it gets flatter as you go to the higher frets. To me personally, I have I think I have one or let's see. I'm trying to remember whether my Vola has a compound fretboard radius, but at least my Telecaster actually has, because I wanted it that way. And I want it that way. So it's like 9.5 inch radius at the first frets. And then as we go up, it goes to like 11.5 or so. And it's like a very natural feeling transition to me, where it like feels as comfortable at like all kind of places on the fretboard to play. And it's not something that you necessarily even notice, but to me, it's like, it just feels a bit more comfortable.
Yeah. So I just find it kind of weird in this article that they say compound fretboard radius, as if we're expected to know what that is. You know, what's the radius down at the first fret? What's the radius up at the top? It's just strange. But there you go.
Yeah.
I'm just splitting hairs here.
I learned about compound radius through Gibson, because I had the 2012 Les Paul standard that was the first one that did the robot tuners, and then they came up with, and then they had the asymmetrical neck paired with compound radius. That was the most comfortable, like a traditional Les Paul I've played, like a Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah. One other thing to mention about this guitar is that it has Dave Mustaine's signature Seymour Duncan pickups, his thrash factor pickups. So again, factoring that in for the price, I think this is a pretty cool guitar. And I'm not much of a thrash player.
Yeah. I'm thrash as a player, but fun joke. Yeah. Looks like the kind of natural finish.
I spit my coffee out laughing at that one.
Yeah, I tried to like find just the right amount of funniness, silliness here, so you still retain your coffee where it's supposed to be. So the natural finished one doesn't seem to have it looks like a traditional flying V, but the silver one seems to have the Dave Mustaine logo or something like that there as well, which is cool because you can get the version where it doesn't look like Dave Mustaine's guitar almost at all, and then there's the one that definitely screams this is the signature instrument. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. The natural one is the one that will have universal appeal. And yeah, the only way that you can kind of, from afar, really tell that it's the Mustaine signature, and they've made this quite hard to see in the image that we're looking at now, is that his signature V has an Explorer headstock shape as opposed to a traditional flying V headstock shape.
Which works really well, by the way.
Aesthetically, and I think it looks great. It looks really sleek and streamlined. I think I might actually prefer that over the Flying V headstock in some ways.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do.
It's cool, though. Nice guitar. Yeah. I think this is one collaboration that Gibson have done really, really well. So, good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's jump to the next thing. Epiphone has released the 1961 Les Paul SG Standard. And that comes with the Gibson burst buckets, which is really cool. And right away in the Gearguts article, they mentioned that this is kind of a tribute to the original SG, which was, if you are not familiar with the story, was kind of designed to replace the Les Paul. Obviously,
yes,
we all know that didn't actually happen, but this is kind of a tribute to that, I guess. So, yeah, looks cool. It's cool that it comes with actual Gibson pickups.
That is pretty cool. That's a good feature. You know, Gibson's own 61 Les Paul SG Standard is a very cool guitar. Loads of people think that's the best SG that Gibson have ever made. So this is a cool model. There's a couple of interesting points for me. One being the pricing. These are going to be $849 in US prices. And I'm guessing that means that in euros over here, it's going to be roughly similar, 850 euros. Bit more, bit less maybe. And we're getting dangerously close to full fat Gibson territory for these prices. You can definitely find a used Gibson SG for that price. And you could buy certain new Gibson models for around that price, brand new. Like the Tribute SGs, for example, you can find them for $900, which is, 50 more, but that's very, very close. So the question is going to be really, why this over a true Gibson counterpart?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this one does have great specifications, but standard Gibsons should have higher specs than this one. So this guitar, I'll just read the specs a little bit. You got a 2-piece solid mahogany body with a custom shop historic bevels. I mean, if you want to hear a great example of marketing nonsense, then there you go. Custom shop historic bevels is one great example of that. A 1-piece mahogany C-shaped neck, historically inspired long pickguard, and a Graphtec nut. It comes loaded with a pair of Gibson burst bucker humbucking pickups, wired to CTS potentiometers and Mallory capacitors for a more classic tone. As far as pickup selectors and onboard controls go, the Epiphone 1961 Les Paul SG Standard is your standard fare in terms of what you'd expect from an SG. So it's got 2 humbuckers and you have a 3-way selector switch, effectively. And I have noticed straight away my fretboard alarm has gone off. The fretboard wood is not mentioned in this article, and of course I took the time to research and see what the fretboard was made of, Vlad, and I'm going to give you a 50-50. Do you think that the fretboard on this guitar is made of rosewood, or do you think the fretboard on this guitar is made of Indian laurel?
I'm going to say it's not rosewood.
Yeah, it's Indian laurel, so
yeah,
that's my other question. Why? Why have they gone to all the lengths of making a more expensive guitar like this and put an Indian laurel fingerboard on it?
Yep. I
sound like I'm angry. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Angry man yells at a cloud.
It happens so often at the moment, you know, and you would think for a guitar like this, which is going to be made in more limited numbers, that they could go with rosewood. I mean, if they've gone to such lengths to put Gibson pickups in it, to put custom shop historic bevels in it, to make it as authentically close to a Gibson as possible. Why have they put an Indian Laurel board on it? For $850, so that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and they are aged, by the way, as well, these guitars. Which I guess...
really?
Well, so it seems. Aged 60s cherry and aged classic white, so...
Oh, yeah.
I think that explains the price a little bit, actually.
Can we get a close-up pic? Do you have any high-res images?
I think we just gotta search for this now. That's not doing anything.
I have to say as well, just looking at the pictures, these are beautiful, classy, traditional-looking guitars. They look fantastic. To what extent is that body aged that we're looking at here?
Yeah, not like a... Well, aged might be a different thing than a relic, I guess.
I'm guessing what they mean is that it has it's a satin finish, a very thin one, presumably, and if it gets dinged in shipping, then that's your aging.
Natural transportation aging applied.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I just closed this up. Well done,
despite my little moan about, the price point and the Indian Laurel board, I'm a big SG fan. My first proper guitar was an Epiphone SG back in the day, and I would be really excited to try these guitars out. They look like they're proper cool, and I've tried some of the Epiphone inspired by Gibson 50s Les Pauls, which are really, really good instruments, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these ones are like as well.
Yep. Yeah, hoping to try one out. They say that it's a limited run, I think, as well. So, checking out the wrong article, but I think it was a limited run. So, who knows whether any of those will make into Europe or Finland at least? Because that's how it goes many times.
Do you think that I go over the top with my discussions of Rosewood and Indian Laurel? Is it just like an irrational, pet hatred that I have, or is it a legitimate question to raise? What's your opinion on that, Vlad?
All I'm gonna say is that I think as a content creator, it's always good to have a thing that people remember you for, whether it's hating Laurel fretboards or something like that. It's good to have that. It makes you more memorable than just a random guy that loves everything. So
yeah, I don't hate them. I just think that they were a substitute introduced to combat CITES regulations a few years ago.
Sure.
And, it doesn't perform as well as Rosewood, in my opinion, in all the cases that I've had with guitars with both different woods. And now we've started to see some other brands bringing Rosewood back, like Vintage Guitars in 2021. You can find them with Rosewood boards now. So if it can be done sustainably, why not? That's what I think about it. But yeah, maybe that's a discussion for next year. What's actually better? Maybe I should do a blind test and prove myself to be an idiot because I get everything wrong. Who knows?
That could be true as well, unfortunately. And also, it might be an image thing as well. Maybe if some companies think that them using something else than Rosewood makes them look better, environmental friendliness wise, could be that as well. Yeah. Just guessing here, but
Yeah, all my opinions on that would be negated by sustainability and environmental factors. If it is kind of the reason that Indian Laurel and other woods are being used over Rosewood for environmental reasons or sustainability, then I'm 100% for them, and I will take that hit because we don't get proper tortoise shell used on guitars anymore for very obvious reasons. It's harder to find dark ebony woods for obvious sustainability reasons, but with Indian Laurel and woods like that, we just don't know at this point. So yeah, maybe that's a discussion that will come up more in 2022.
Yep, very possible. More guitars. Harley Benton goes T-style crazy with its new TE-62CC and Fusion T electric guitars, and the prices are crazy. And I think both of us have one of these guitars, right?
It's a crazy headline. It's got the word crazy in it twice.
double the crazy. Yeah. So in the photo, they are showing the Fusion T models. And I happen to have one. Just a second.
Yep, these look rather fantastic value for money. Very much a modern take on the Telecaster. And Vlad recently did an unboxing video, which he will link, won't you, in the description down there?
I will. This is looking great, by the way.
Yeah, Vlad's off-white Fusion T there, which is most definitely not shell pink.
What is shell pink? Can you please link me something that is shell pink? Because I'm very confused about the colors nowadays. This is almost white, but there's like a hint of pink.
Yeah, it's a very pale shell pink, isn't it? And I think that so many companies have their own take on what shell pink is, that anything that has like even one little pigmentation that might be pink is shell pink. You know, shell pink is what your eye sees. But when I think of shell pink, I think of older Fender guitars that have that color. And if I think about a guitar that I know today, which is shell pink, I would go to our mutual friend Guillaume from the Thomann Guitars and Basses channel and his custom shop shell pink Strat. That's shell pink.
That's
for
a
me.
good point. Yeah,
and it's a much more obvious pink. Why are you holding it like a violin? Is that how you're playing this one?
That's how I play them nowadays.
Cool.
Trying to like stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, it's good to have
this is a very impressive
style.
instrument. Very impressive instrument so far. And I agree with the article. It is crazy how little they ask for this. This is 400 euros or 399, and you get rose mill pickups, proper Wilkinson bridge, and roasted maple neck. And was this a mahogany body? I think.
If I remember rightly, yeah, it was. How heavy is that guitar, by the way, Vlad? It looks quite light the way you're holding it.
Heavy-ish. I'm just super strong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Oh, you're from Finland, of course.
Of course. Polar bears, stuff like that. No, it's just lifting up two kids, like when you do that daily, and like you actually get stronger. That's one of the benefits of having kids. But as I mentioned in the unboxing video, overall this feels solid. Few of these cutaways, like on the higher fret axis, this cutaway over here is completely pointless, because if you can see how I'm positioning my hand, like this cutaway does nothing. It's just there for the looks. It's kind of silly. The neck joint is okay. Like I don't need to access the 24th. This has 22 frets. I don't need to access that much, so I'm fine with that. I didn't like these pickups as much as the ones on the ALS. It's kind of sad that that's the only guitar that comes with the Tesla pickups. With those, I didn't feel like they would have needed to be swapped. But with these, if I'm going to keep the guitar, I would probably swap them.
They have. There is another guitar with Tesla pickups. It's the two new Goto guitars, the SC and the DC, single cut and double cut DLX guitars. They have Goto hardware, and they have the Tesla pickups as well. I had the SC DLX Goto in for a review video. I've still got it, actually. It's behind me, and that's a very good guitar as well. But yeah, that has the Tesla pickups, and yeah, it's interesting for me that the Fusion Tele type that you have there doesn't have those in, but there you go. I mean, they're building to a price point, aren't they? And I guess the Teslas cost a bit more for some reason. But yeah, you're the more modern guy. I'm the more traditional guy. And so when I saw that the TE-62CC was released and costs the princely sum of 149 euros in Europe, I just thought, I'm going to try one of these. And that guitar comes in 4 different colors. So you've got shell pink, you've got seafoam green, you've got Lake Placid blue, and you've got charcoal frost. So this is another question for you, Vlad. Which of those finishes did I choose to go for? They were all available at the time I made my order. Did I choose shell pink, or seafoam green, or Lake Placid blue, or charcoal frost? It's like a game show now.
Yeah, ding, 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 with some sort of music here in the background. I think you went with the Seafoam. Is it Seafoam Green?
Seafoam Green is the green, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'm going to reduce the options down to 2 to give you a 50-50. This is your last lifeline. And the 2 options that are being removed are Charcoal Frost and Seafoam Green. So I either went for Shell Pink or Lake Placid Blue.
Then I'm going to say you went for the blue one because you're a blue guy.
Yeah, because I'm a boring guy. Well, I have news for you. I got the blue one. Yeah, here it is. I was really...
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking really hard between the Shell Pink and the Lake Placid Blue. And in fact, I really like all 4 of the colors. I love the Shell Pink, but I just thought that's maybe a mood guitar that I'll get sick of. And with the Seafoam Green, I was like, that's a nice green, but I just don't know. I would prefer to have that with a rosewood board, or let's say a dark colored fretboard as opposed to a maple one. And with the Charcoal Frost, I love the equivalent finish that Fender has, but I didn't expect it to be the same quality from Harley Benton, so I'd want to see that one in person before ordering that, because it's the Fender Ultra and Elite guitars, I think, where they have it might even be called Charcoal Frost, a very similar finish, which is beautiful and sparkly. And from the images that we're looking at on screen there, you couldn't see that with the Harley Benton T-62. So I went for the Lake Placid Blue. And yeah, this video comes out on Friday, the 17th of December. And actually, my video for this guitar was released on Thursday, the 16th. So you can go and watch that now if you like. I'm sure Vlad will put a link to that.
Obviously. By the way, in these photos, we're just checking out this, like the differences between the pinks is actually apparent. On the Fusion T, it's like mild pink. This looks more like shell pink on the TE-62 models.
That's what I thought as well, and that was another reason why I was edging towards the shell pink, almost to prove a point that this is what shell pink is. But yeah, in the end, I went for blue because I'm all about the blue guitars, and I wanted this one to fit in with my collection, you know, and have this be a guitar that I would always want to come back to. And yeah, the big difference between our two is that mine is a much more traditional sort of a telly, and yours is much more modern. But this one has a roasted maple neck, or as Harley Benton refer to it on their website, vintage style caramelized maple. So sounds tasty. And it feels good too. It's a really nice feeling neck. The fingerboard is just that caramelized maple or whatever. That's the back of the neck, a really nice tint to it. It's a modern D-shaped neck, so it's not too chunky, nice and easy to play, lovely smooth satin feel to it. And everything about this guitar for the price is great. It's all really good, but watch my video if you want more details. But I really like this guitar, and it's a keeper, I think.
Yeah. Do you see it as like maybe like a mod platform in the future, or is it like it's good as it is and you just gonna use it?
Good question. I talk about exactly that in the video, and I feel like
I don't want to spoil anything.
No, but I mean, I could imagine it being a good modding platform. Of course, you could upgrade those Roswell pickups because they're not the world's best, and I say that in the video as well. But on the other hand, for what you're paying for this for $150, you don't need to upgrade it. Everything else is totally fine. The guitar played great out of the box. The action and the intonation was totally fine. The tuners are good. They seem firm and stable. So I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. And at the moment, I don't feel like I would want to change anything, but that's often the beauty of Harley Benton guitars. You have that modding option, you know, in the coming years. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm liking it very much. Actually, it's very cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out with the Fusion T I have. Whether like I'll grow to like it as a guitar besides like other than the pickups. And if I do, then I'll probably just end up swapping the pickups on it, which I'll see.
Yeah.
But so far I've been impressed, though. I've been preparing, like I've been playing a lot of acoustic guitar lately instead of electric guitar. So haven't really had the time to give it like proper run just yet. I got a few shows coming up. I forgot to advertise that we're doing, like me and my sister doing a Christmas show next week, for example. right here on this channel. I shall be advertising it starting today, which is Thursday, or maybe Friday. So
very nice. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm actually playing a show, like a private show with my sister at a place as well tomorrow. So we've been preparing for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, these look great. And actually, our Harley Benton news do not end here. Because they also put out, like all of a sudden, they put out 2 practice combos with 2 they're digital modeling combos, Harley Benton 40MFX and HB-40MFX. Slightly difficult to pronounce, and I think with those letters you can make some jokes as well. But we're not going to dive into that. We're just going to talk about the amps themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of channels on those. Yeah. There's like a DSP engine presents a respectable complement of essential guitar effects to there's a reverb, delay, chorus, phase, and modulation all available at the touch of a button. And one
what does that
adjustable
mean?
parameter.
What's modulation in that context? Don't chorus and phaser count as modulation effects?
I'm pretty sure those are supposed to be modulations, so what do I know?
Yeah. These look interesting, don't they? I mean, and like you said, Harley Benton absolutely banging out new release after new release after new release right now. They've released so many new products recently. They've got so many different areas of the market covered. It's quite impressive. Their R&D team, or their purchasing team, whatever you want to call it, is really doing a lot of business right now. I have to admit, I hadn't heard about these amps until you sent me the link just before we did the show. And yeah, I mean, they look interesting. Kind of, in a way, amps like this are more old-fashioned, aren't they, than they used to be? But this could be competition for things like the Marshall Code, you know?
Yeah.
Would be very interesting to see how good the 8-inch speaker sounds in the smaller one.
I was just about to say.
But yeah.
The 20 model is 75 pounds. The 40 model is 92 pounds. These are very affordable. Site not found, says it on Thoman. Interesting. Why isn't it found? I'm going to try out the finished site, maybe.
Maybe they're actually not out yet. Oh, wait, you've got like a weird double hyperlink in your link thing there, haven't you?
So it seems there's a.
I think Music Radar had a dodgy link.
So it seems.
It's like a double link or something.
So why is the link? Yeah, there's the original link and then there's the affiliate link. So well done, Music Radar.
Delete that number at the end of the link.
Bad request.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just going to go to the site and...
The old-fashioned way.
HB-40MFX.
But yeah, I mean, I assume that these amps are kind of generic things that you can buy as a company and sort of rebadge. Yeah. Maybe put the odd feature on. And what's interesting about that, if it is the case, is that if Harley Benton think they can sell these, then they're doing it through their brand name. And that means that their brand name, Harley Benton, is starting to gain gravitas as something that people gravitate towards. So that's an interesting point in and of itself. People would choose to buy a Harley Benton amp because it's a Harley Benton. It's very skinny, isn't it, that amp?
It is. It's closed back though, so that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And it has you can connect an external speaker to it by the look of it. It looks like an interesting little thing. Can you close up to the front panel? Can we see what those effects are and what those 5 amp models are? I think it's kind of cool that there are 5 different amp models in there.
Yeah.
Reverb.
There's clean, crunch, lead, and 2 OD channels.
Okay. So kind of similar to the Boss Katana, maybe in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the effect side, we've got reverb, delay, chorus, tremolo, and phaser.
By the way, this might be the first time I saw anyone like using CRS for chorus. Isn't it usually CHR?
Yeah, that's what I would assume normally.
So
but I'm guessing they've done that because there's also a phaser, and they've called the phaser PHR. And I don't know if you'd normally call the phaser PHR, but PHR and CHR on the same one would possibly confuse people.
Could be. Looks like you can connect to it via Bluetooth as well.
It's got a mini USB basically as well. You can play backing tracks through it. It's an interesting little thing.
I mean, for the money, why not?
It also has an interesting knob on it, param, which is parameter, which I assume controls the intensity of the given effect. If you have an effect active, I assume you can only have one effect active at once. Can you?
Kind of seemed that way, at least.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it looks nice, decent for the money. 89 euros.
Yeah, imagine
right away.
Remember the first amp that you ever had? Because I can remember the first amp I ever had. I don't remember what brand it was or anything, but it was probably about 1% as good as this amp will be. And back in the day, it probably cost more money new. So there you go. Interested to try this one out as well. I wouldn't be expecting anything amazing, but for a first amp, for practicing, for getting a decent clean tone, maybe a few decent lowish gain overdrive sounds, it would be all right. I don't think you'd probably want to play that much metal on it with the 8-inch speaker, but there you go. If anyone's got one of these or is buying one of these, let us know what you think, because we're very interested.
Yep.
But for 89 euros, it's almost worth just buying one, just to see how it is.
Yep.
Almost.
Almost. Yeah. Well, would be interesting to try one of these out. And as you mentioned, compare it to the whatever Laney, something Laney that I had, which was actually like incredibly bad. Even like at the time, I remember it being bad. Then I think I swapped it for a PV Studio Pro 112, which is actually a very decent like transistor combo.
Yeah.
But the Laney thing was awful. But I had no idea what I was getting at the time, so I don't blame anyone.
Yeah.
And I don't have guitar players in the family at all, like none. So there wasn't anyone who would have been able to help me. But yeah, let's jump to the last news piece of thing. These have been out for more than 15 hours, what this article is saying on the guitarworld.com, because I've seen this thing for a week at least. Modal Effects Disruption is a modular gain pedal with interchangeable blocks. And this looks interesting. Basically, for those who are listening to the podcast version, there's like the bass pedal, then you can add 3 different modular blocks on top of it. And there's like a fast drive, distortion, there's a tone control, and a boost. And you can mix and match them as you want. And apparently this project is in a Kickstarter phase right now. And our buddy RJ actually has a video on this thing on his channel. And yeah, they've already reached their goal of getting $10,000. They are at $1,400 right now already. So, well done. Project
pretty interesting idea. It's kind of like what people these days would build on a Helix or a modeling device, but in physical format.
Is this the analog Helix?
Yeah, I like that idea of it. What do you think about this as an idea, Vlad? Do you think it will get off the ground? Do you think it will find success?
I mean, it's fun and kind of silly. I know some people will enjoy these, but I don't know. I would have no use for this personally. Like, the money like you have to spend on this is quite a lot actually. So yeah.
How much is the pedal?
It was 200 something, I think. Let me double check. $239.
Okay, and so for $239 you get the pedal and the 5 blocks. I take it.
Yes.
So it's about the price of a standard sort of boutique overdrive pedal with a few different options. It gives you the chance to make some pretty unique block collections, I guess. I need to watch RJ's demo of that because I have no real idea of how it sounds and how it works together.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what would be amazing for a company like this is if it takes off, if at some point they can also start doing deals with other companies, kind of respected, established, pedal builders who say, okay, we'll build you a module that goes in there.
Yeah,
that would potentially be cool.
That would be really cool, actually. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe it does take off, and everybody wants to get one.
Interesting times. It's cool to see something a little bit different once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, if you're interested in the project, if you want to back the project, we are obviously adding a link to the whole thing in the show notes as well, as always. But now, I think it is time for something that a lot of you have been waiting for, I hope. And I'm actually super, super excited to hear what Rich has picked, because it is time for... I need to click some buttons to make that happen before that. But it is time to pick our Gear of the Year picks. And we're going to do it by magic of Kaboom. Magic of Kaboom.
Wow.
That's not what I meant, but yeah. Gear of the Year picks. And I actually got to pick up my show notes and see what did I pick.
Well,
and so
for anyone watching this, you've got 2 top 5 lists there, which are currently empty, of course, because we haven't revealed what our gear is. But I have to disappoint you straight away and say I haven't come up with a top 5 list or a number 1. I've just thought about what I did this year, which I like, and have a few ideas about that. So my list is not going to be in any actual order, I guess.
Yeah. I think mine are and are not in order as well. Like, I bounced around the order. I was thinking like whether this is actually an order or not. But like, yeah, these are 5 items we wanted to highlight like each. And also I got 3 runner-ups as well that didn't make, if we want to call it top 5, I got 3 that didn't make the top 5.
Okay.
So
let's start with you then, seeing as you've clearly put a little bit more thought into this, a little bit more structure. What is your gear of the year?
My first pick is drum roll, as I've also listened to my kids being upset about something over there. My first pick is the Fender Acoustasonic Jazzmaster. And yes, I am biased here because I got to demo the thing when it was out early this year. But honestly, that thing is good. I misspelled it, by the way. I'm going to fix that.
No, that's the Italian, the Acoustasonic. But wait, so is this is number 1 on your list? Is this your number 1 piece of gear, or are you also doing this in just any order?
Just any order. Maybe I need to remove the listings here, so like we're on even field. Please don't die Photoshop. For whatever reason, I'm doing this in Photoshop. Yeah, I'm going to remove these numbers here.
Okay.
Just to have less confusion. But yeah, my first one I'm mentioning is the Fender Acoustasonic Jazzmaster. I just like the guitar. Honestly, like, I was very skeptical when they sent me one. And nobody is paying me to say this, but I actually enjoyed the instrument. Would I pay 2,000 or 1,800 euros for it? Probably not. But I think for some people, it's an actual a problem solver, but also like a great studio tool and a source for inspiration as well. Because there was a session that I did with my church band where I used just the Acoustasonic and I used the acoustic guitar sounds. And then I also used the electric guitar sounds, even for leads. And it worked really well. Like those sounds by themselves don't sound that amazing, but when I threw those drive sounds into a band context with like a second guitar player, bass, keyboards, drums, few singers, it worked really well. And also because it has like acoustic or like electric guitars playability, it's great for doubling like riffs and stuff like that for your recordings as well, because it's way more comfortable to play than your average acoustic guitar, while also having sounds of a real acoustic guitar. So, impressive but expensive piece of gear. And I'm actually really looking forward for them to release the how did they call the Mexican versions of these? We have the Tele out now. We actually covered it a few weeks ago.
The cheap Acoustasonic. No, I don't know what they call it. The standard, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I just went through everything. Go ahead.
Carry on.
My wayward son. Sorry, I promise one of these days I won't do that joke. Just a good guitar. Different. Stood out to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about this guitar this year, and there have been so many people on YouTube who've had one and done videos of it and stuff, and we've asked ourselves the question, who's buying these guitars? But they must be relatively successful for Fender to keep on doing them, to keep on pushing with them. And in 2022, there will be the Mexican-made, more affordable version of the Acoustasonics, and it's going to be really interesting to see how those work in a real-world environment. So, in a way, I'm surprised you've picked an Acoustasonic, but in a way, when I think about the fact that it's actually a really useful tool, and you've been able to use it in a live environment, it works. It should be on the list. It takes its rightful place there. So, solid first choice.
Thank you. So, what's your choice for?
Oh, we're doing it like this, are we? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it like this.
Let me have a look at my list down here. So, for me, really, it's between guitars, pedals, and amps, mainly. I've tried to only go with stuff that I've played myself. One of the choices I haven't, but I basically have. And I've tried to go with stuff that I genuinely really like, which would be stupid if I didn't actually, wouldn't it? But anyway, so my first choice is the Virtual Jeff. No, it's not. That's not my choice. Take it off. That would be my choice, I'm sure, if I got to play one.
Like, there's absolutely
it's my
no way
favorite
to
name
delete,
product of the year. I love the concept of the Virtual Jeff, but it can't be on my list because I've not tried one, so take it off. But yeah.
We should have had categories like the best named product.
That's definitely the best named product. And
we're doing that next year.
It really looks cool. But yeah. Okay, so my first choice for the list is going to be probably the guitar that I had the most premium playing experience with this year, and that would be the Tone Fox L-Caster. No.
How do you spell L-Caster?
L-Caster, yes, but not Tone Fox. It's the English version, Tone Fox. Now, Tone Fox that you just wrote there is the brand of guitars built in Germany, made by Uwe Scholz. Tone, like the English tone, exactly. And he came out this year with Tone Fox, which is like a more affordable brand, or a sub-brand of Tone Fox. And his first kind of pre-series run of 10 L-Casters was sold out very, very quickly this summer. But my friend Michiel, who was at 42GS, had one of those first 10, one of the prototypes. He let me borrow it to do a video with, and it is a fantastic instrument. It's like it's a thin line Tele effectively with two P90s. They retail for about 1,700 euros. The full fat Tone Fox guitars that Uwe builds are at least twice the price of that and more, depending on what you want. They're totally custom. But with the Tone Fox sub-brand, what Uwe is doing is buying in high quality bodies and necks and then building it all together himself. Okay, so the bodies in this one were finished in a beautiful, like, mid-blue sparkle finish, but he ages them himself, he fettles it all, he does the setups, he does the same with the necks, which he buys from a high-quality builder in Japan, who also built for many other high-profile companies like Fender, for example. The pickups are also a German brand. I've forgotten the name off the top of my head, but I've done a video about this guitar, so go watch it on my channel if you're interested. The Tone Fox Elecaster was the most inspiring and probably the best playing guitar I've played this year. I'm a huge P90s fan, and that guitar just sang to me. And I've told Michiel that if that guitar ever needs to leave him, he should call me immediately.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my number one, but it's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, since we kind of ditched the numbers, then it's not as... Well, I don't know. I guess people like... And I personally would still kind of think of it as number 1 just because it's number 1 on the list, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
I think you know what I mean, at least. Okay, my number 2, I just called it number 2 now, so there you go, is the Harley Benton ALS, which I'm spelling in all caps as well. Yeah, this was an easy choice because it is the best budget-friendly guitar I've tried, honestly. For $399, the quality of that instrument was ridiculous. I can't believe that's the amount they're asking, because I didn't have anything to complain about that guitar, where like setup-wise, fretwork-wise, pickups-wise actually as well. It was just good to go right away. And actually going to like the Fusion T that I have here, like this, while this is high quality, the ALS was like a level up from that. It feels like a €900 guitar. So
yes.
Yep.
That's all I have to say to that, because my number 2 on my list is the Harley Benton ALS. So we share an item there, so I can only echo exactly what you've said. I have really enjoyed having the ALS with me. Very, very sadly, I'm actually later today boxing it back up to ship back to Thomann because I opted not to keep it. Mine had the selector switch built the wrong way around, and that always bugged me, so I decided I didn't want to keep the guitar in the end. But I've made about 5 or 6 videos with it, and it's a fantastic instrument. It's incredibly versatile. It can cover so many different styles of music. It feels great. It's lovely to play with the roasted maple neck. The Tesla pickups are very good. And it's just an awesome guitar. I've really enjoyed having it. And this was actually the first instrument that when I thought about doing this list, I wanted to put on it. So there you go. The ALS takes its place, probably as the only guitar that we both would put on the list. And maybe because of that, it has to be number 1. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. My number 3, or like third pick, I guess is the correct term here, is something that I haven't actually personally tried, but that inspired me a lot when I saw it, and that is Boss SY200.
Oh, and wow, that's a left field choice.
It's the Boss synthesizer pedal thingy, and it just looks great. I'm trying to like make this list nice and pretty as we go. Yeah, that thing just, I don't know, like I love the idea of it all, like being able to create like huge soundscapes with just your guitar. Something that I find really interesting, especially like the gig I'm doing tomorrow, so Friday, actually roughly around the time this show airs. I borrowed a Pod Go from a friend, and I'm doing like this kind of, there's like a shimmer thing and reverbs and delays and a little bit of like one of the songs requires quite an ambient mood, I should say. And the Pod Go does it really well, but like SY200 and the whole Boss synthesizer thing, like just looks great. And the 200 is just the right amount of features and stuff between the small one. Is it SI1?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then there's the 1000 version, which is a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it, and I probably will be getting one at some point.
Yeah, cool choice.
Just
even though you haven't played it, I think that's a cool choice. And I totally agree about the 200 series from Boss, by the way. You get the 1 series, the standard pedals, which are cool, but have way less options than the 200. The 200 can basically do everything, and I think for many players, the thousands will be slightly overkill. So, yeah. Very cool. I'm looking forward to any upcoming videos where you might be trying to learn how to use that thing.
If I end up getting one, I need to do like a guitar noob tries to use a synth pedal. Thing, because that's cool. Going to be a catastrophe that other people will enjoy watching, and I will be embarrassed. But hey, that's content.
It's content. That's what you do. Alrighty, so my number 3, I'm sticking with guitars for my third one, and it is possibly another slightly unusual choice. It's the vintage V100 WR. That's the wine red Les Paul type vintage guitar with mini humbuckers. It's a pair of Wilkinson mini humbuckers, and that guitar, I only got it fairly recently, and I've made one video with it so far, but it's a fantastic instrument. It's so fun to play. It feels great. It looks great. I love the neck on it. And those mini humbuckers have totally opened my eyes again to a new kind of style of pickup. You know, they sit between single coils and full fat humbuckers and have all the good stuff about all the other ones and none of the bad stuff. It's a lovely guitar. I really, really like it. I haven't put it into a mix and I haven't played live with it yet, of course, but it feels like it will sit really, really well in any band mix as well in terms of the frequency bands that it occupies. So a lovely guitar, and that really impressed me. And I was surprised about that in a way because I've played that guitar before many years ago. You know, I worked for JHS and Vintage between 2010 and 2013, and there was a previous incarnation of this guitar then, and I didn't bond with it, but now suddenly I'm in a different place, and there are better specifications on the 2021 models of vintage guitars than there were on some of the previous ones. And it's a wonderful guitar. It's so much fun, so inspiring to play, and makes me do things a bit differently. And for that reason, it deserves its place alongside the Elecaster and the Aeolus. That's 3 very different guitars, but 3 that have really inspired me to do different musical things this year.
That's really cool. That's what Best Gear does to you. You get inspired to play and write different things.
Exactly, and that's what you have as well. I mean, you've got the Aeolus, then you've got the Acoustasonic Jazzmaster and the SY200. You don't have it yet, but I'm pretty sure that you won't be doing standard guitar lines with that.
Yeah, we shall see. My next pick is... Oh, come on. There you go. My next pick is the Epiphone Matt Heafy 7-string. And is that how you spell his name?
Yep.
Heafy? Yep. Well done, me. Yeah. I've been thinking about getting like a 7-string for a while, especially after having the Harley Benton baritone, the Amarok one, which is a great guitar. But kind of never bonded with it. It did the thing it was supposed to do really well, and I gave it a fairly raving review. But yeah, never bonded with it, and so I moved on from it. And I was thinking about, like, instead of having a baritone, maybe getting like a 7-string, because it would still kind of have all the regular stuff available. And without like a super long scale as well, and the Amarok was fairly heavy. And when I saw this, we covered the Matt Heafy upcoming Epiphones a while ago, like a 7-string Les Paul with a 25.5-inch scale sounds really, really fun. It sounds a little bit silly, but fun, because I have a soft spot for especially like gloss black Les Pauls, and my 335, which is also like gloss black. It just resonated, like looks-wise, it immediately resonated with me. And it's not crazily, like the price isn't that crazy. I don't know, $700, $800, $900 maybe. with like proper his pickups and everything. So like a true like metal monster of a guitar, while still looking classy. That's what I like about it. And yeah, I was kind of drawn to that guitar. And
yeah, it looks like a great guitar. And I think we both have massive respect for Matt Heafy and everything he's done.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a cool choice. And I remember his previous Epiphone signature Les Pauls. They were great. It's not personally that my thing as much as it would be yours, but great instruments. And this one, I guess, will hopefully have a chance to play them in 2022 at some point. Very cool. Yeah. I would love to see you do a video with one of these.
First of all, try to figure out how on earth do you play a 7-string. So
there is that. Hey, does Epiphone do much when it comes to working with YouTubers? Just thinking about it, I guess they don't really, do
they? Doesn't seem like it.
I don't recollect any YouTubers really doing it. Yeah, Hunter maybe.
Yeah, I think the ones Hunter does, I think he just like gets them himself from places, like works with maybe or something like that. I don't think he has ever mentioned that he works with Epiphone directly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess they don't have to.
No, exactly. I mean, they're in a position where, it's like what we talked about with Strymon recently. They put out a pedal and everybody buys it and makes a video anyway. So why should they pay YouTubers to do videos? Yeah, totally get it. Yeah. But yeah, that's another cool choice.
I also love the fact that Matt is actually playing these exact same guitars. Is really cool as well. So
yeah, another great point. A signature artist playing their own signature instrument. Full plus points for me.
And that version of the guitar, not like he's playing the premium Gibson version and then we get the Epiphone. Yeah. That's nice. Right.
Very cool.
You go.
My fourth choice is actually the one piece of gear in my top 5 list that I haven't played this year, although I kind of have, and you'll know why when I reveal that it is the JHS Pack Rat pedal.
There you go.
I love rat pedals. Yeah, maybe. It's definitely had its share of discussions, heated talks on both sides. But yeah, the JHS Pack Rat has, I think, is it 9 different rat circuits in it? And I've played a bunch of different rats now. I only recently discovered the rat pedal, and the Rat 2 is amazing, and I've got a bunch of other ones. And the Pack Rat came out this year and has 9 different rat analog circuits in it. It seems on paper, in theory, like an amazing idea, like an amazing pedal. JHS have already done the Muffaletta, which is like a big muff fuzz style version of this, and they've done the Bonsai, which is 7 or 8 tube screamers in one. The Pack Rat seems great, but it's been released for a few weeks now and is not going to be in Europe for 3 or 4 months, I don't think. So hopefully in 2022 I'll get the chance to play one, but because I know exactly what a rat sounds like, I'm sure that this deserves its place on the list for me. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So like when you mentioned Pack Rat, I was surprised for like half a second until I realized that nope, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we discussed it as well, and I do have some reservations about it, and it's also quite expensive for a pedal, I can buy rats for much cheaper, and I already own a few more rat pedals, but this one seems exciting. And of course, when you've got the behemoth that is the JHS YouTube channel behind it, making cool videos, and we've got people like our friend Eirik, Living Room Gear Demos, making a killer video as well, making it sound so good, it just makes you want to buy it. So, well done, you guys.
Yep. Yeah, well done, JHS, I guess. My fifth pick is the Friedman Mini BE head. And I was actually surprised. I kind of surprised myself by picking this. But I just went through stuff we covered and some other things I remember being released. And I have the new X, what's it called? Fireman, maybe? Let me quickly check.
Oh, yeah, the Fireman pedal, yeah. Which is like the BE OD pedal.
Yes. And that thing reminded me how much I love the sound. Like the sound of that. But the idea of having that sound as a tiny amp that is very practical for home recording and stuff like that, and just having like a cute little amp thing there on the shelf, I love that. I love the idea of it, and like it's also like I love it in the sense where I really like that sound, but I don't think I like it that much that I would like spend money to buy the full size Friedman BE head, because I think some of the other models are more my thing. Like if I would just have to pick one amp from them, but I would love to have that sound available every now and then. And if I can have it in a tiny head and get like consistently the same sound instead of like putting a pedal through different amps and trying to figure out why it works with some and why it doesn't work with others. I think it's just a great concept, and it's what, 300-ish euros, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think Thomann even had it a little bit cheaper than that in late November or early December, Black Friday time. It was like, I think it was 269 euros, which is just crazy cheap for what it is. But yeah, great choice. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And the Friedman Mini BE head would be in my list if I had a top 10. It's in my honorable mentions. It was between that and another amp for my choices to go into the top 5 because I wanted to feature a amp as well. It's more difficult for me to speak about amps in this way because I don't buy a lot of amps, you know. I tend to find something I like and stick with it, and I've stuck with my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 for a long time now. But I also, through sheer luck and work, happened to accumulate another amp this year that I want to put into the list, and that amp is the Engel Iron Ball Special Edition.
Ooh.
And you might be thinking, why would Rich be so into a more metally amp? But actually, the Iron Ball Special Edition can do more than metal, and it can actually do pretty much everything. It's a lunchbox head. It's made in Germany. It costs about 1,200 euros, I believe, at time of filming. It has 2 channels, a clean and a lead one. It does all that Epiphone, super high gain stuff, but it does cleans as well. And it has every kind of modern connectivity that I would personally want and that I personally use as well. You know, it has built-in IRs and an IR loader, so you can put your own IRs in it. You can go straight into a PA. You can go straight into a mixing desk. You can record with it, no problem. You can run it straight to the desk for live shows. You don't need a cabinet. It's got a headphone option as well. It just does everything. And this amp has also inspired me a lot this year because the one thing, or one of the things that I find less palatable about my Black Spirit 200 amp is the ultra channel, the high gain channel. I just don't like it. And I've been playing most of my high gain stuff with the clean channel of the Black Spirit 200 and my Rev G3 pedal. And if the Rev G3 pedal had been released this year, it would totally be on this list, but it's too old for that. And the Engel gives me that Engel flavor of gain instead, and it's really inspired me to just do a bit more heavier stuff, go back to some of my more metal and hardcore punk roots. So I've really been loving having that amp, and I'm going to try and explore it more in the new year as well. Like I said, it was a tough choice between the Engel and the Friedman Mini BE head, because I also got to play that at 42 Gear Street, and I made a video with Perfecto de Castro, and Perfecto makes it sound amazing. But yeah, I'm sticking with the Engel for now, and I'll put the Friedman Mini BE head on my honorable mentions list.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of honorable mentions, I'm just going to list the 3 that I had. Honorable mentions. Yeah. First one for me is the Boss SD1 Limited Edition. This is kind of cheating because SD1 has been out for 40 years, but
it was a new release, so it's fair. Yeah. I'll accept that. It's the same with the Engel Iron Ball Special Edition. There was an Iron Ball before, so you know we're all cheating a little bit.
Because I got one. We worked with Boston a couple of videos, and it is just like I've never had the SD1 before. It just works. It's going to stay on my pedal board because it works really well for many things. It's great for recording, an absolute classic in every sense. And I personally prefer the black enclosure over the classic yellow one. Mm-hmm. You can be mad at me because of the yes, it sounds darker. So yeah, there's that one. So that's my first honorable mention. The second one is the orange Super Crush 100. So the new 100 watt like transistor amp head they released not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is kind of one of their steps outside the kind of tube amp realm, besides the mini amps they've had. And based on the demos, it sounds like Orange in every single way. There's few kind of interesting things like I don't think you could disable the cap simulation on it or something like weird like that. Or maybe you could, but basically you can. I think you can go like DI from it into your audio interface, for example. It just looks like a cool amp. And also something that I might consider actually getting because it would look really cool in the studio and I've kind of missed that Orange sound a bit.
Yeah.
So there's that. By the way, I probably should type it here. Orange Super Crush 100. And the third honorable mention goes to the EHX Intelligent Harmony Machine, which looks amazing, does super cool things harmonically, and it didn't get to the top 5, like my 5 picks, because it's a bit gimmicky. Like, I don't need the harmonizer that often, but if I would kind of get into the harmonizing game, I guess, that pedal might be the one I would go for just because it's so cool looking and can do so many things. I really enjoyed the idea of it at least. So those are my 3 honorable mentions.
Very cool choices. I approve of all of those. And they could also all be on my list as well, I guess. I have a few more than 3. I'm just going to do some quick mental calculations and run it down to 3. What should I remove from my list? Okay, I guess I'm going to do... Well, we have the Friedman BE Mini already. That can be the one amp in there. That can be my honorable amp mention because, that's just a whole bunch of fun. You know, like I said, the Iron Ball has all the options in the world. It has different channels. You can do so many different things with it. With the Friedman B mini head, you just plug it in and do that modded Marshall rocking out sound. It's so simple. Yeah. It's such a cool concept. It looks so fun. I love it. I would love to get one, and hopefully one day I will. And I'm really looking forward to the next mini amps that come out from Boutique Amps Distribution, because I've heard about what a couple of them are going to be, and I think they're going to be really, really cool, some of them. Okay then, so my other choices, that'll do for the amplifier. In terms of pedals, I would have to pick the Wampler Ratsbane, which is another Rat. But I love Rats, and that was an amazing take on the Rat with a different separate circuit in it. Really, really good pedal.
Is this how you spell it?
Yep.
Good.
Very good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that pedal. It's another Rat, yes, but that's just a sound that I absolutely love. So it had to be in there in some way. And in terms of a guitar, I would pick another kind of off the beaten track one, which would be the Hans Rocket, which maybe doesn't ring any bells for you. That's Hans, like that, and Rocket. This is, no, just one T.
Oh.
A German master luthier built instrument by Thorsten Hans, based in Tübingen in Germany, and this guitar actually found its way to Blue Guitar, to my day job, because Thorsten Hans also sells stuff and he happens to deal with Blue Guitar stuff as well. And this guitar was sent to the office just for a couple of my colleagues to check out, and I fell in love with it straight away, and I did a video on it, which you can watch. It's a P90 equipped guitar again. It's beautifully made. It weighs 2.2 kilograms, so it's under 5 pounds. It's everything about it is fantastic. It's just I couldn't afford to buy it, so unfortunately I didn't. So there you go. If I could have done, I absolutely would have. But if I think that guitar might actually still be available, so maybe I should go crawling to Thorsten Hans and say, do you want to do a deal on it? But anyway, it's an amazing guitar. I really, really liked it, and it definitely makes my honorable mentions. And the funny thing is, that's the most expensive guitar on my list, and it beats out another Harley Benton guitar, which is the cheapest on my list, which would be the Harley Benton HB-35 Plus. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm actually noticing most of my stuff is fairly affordable as well, except the Acoustasonic Jazzmaster. It's not like crazy premium price, but it is still 1,800 euros, I think. So
yeah, I think for most of my choices as well, we're kind of at mid to budget stuff. I mean, the ToneFox Lcaster is 1,700 euros. The Aorus is 400. The vintage B100 is also about 400. The Pack Rat, 260 or 70 or something, I think we said it was. So yeah, expensive for a pedal. And the Engel Iron Ball is about 1,200. Could be worse.
It could be worse. That's one way to describe it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of cool gear released this year. Unfortunately, a few of these is something I've been able to try, but maybe one day, maybe next year, that is.
Hey, and I guess at the end of this, we have to crown the rig of the year. And based on the fact that we both chose them, the Harley Benton Aorus paired with the Friedman Mini BE head. They're the winners. That's actually
a killer combo, by the way.
Yeah.
Those two together, it's when I did my Aorus review, I think the best sounds I got from it were with the new X5 man going into the Rev D20, doing that like hair metal, like true rock and roll thing. It sounded so good. It sounded really, really good.
So there you go.
There you go. That's a killer rig. Maybe we'll do like social media posts from this, and like maybe we need to like crown the rig of the year. And let's do that. Yeah, this was fun. Few picks that I really didn't expect seeing here, like the Engel Iron Ball. I saw that like that the amp popping up on a bunch of channels, but still. Oh, and I kind of checked it out at NAMM 2020, but it's been almost 2 years now, so I've forgotten about it.
Oh yeah, like originally there was a prototype of that there, but it wasn't released until this year, like so many products. Lucky that it was only released this year, or I wouldn't have been able to include it. Good thinking. But yeah, I mean, in some ways I was also surprised to have it on my list, but amps are things that you don't buy as many of, And I ended up with this one this year, and it takes the place almost by default. But yeah, very cool amp.
That is wonderful, as they say in German.
Yes.
Let's do more lists. But this time we'll talk about music a little bit, and we are gonna pick top 5 Christmas songs. I have absolutely no idea what you're going to pick. So that should be interesting. And we're going to do it in the albums of our life section, even though it's technically not that, but we can do it that way. Why not? That's our mantra for today. Why not?
Like plastic on a CD shelf, these are the albums of our lives.
All right.
Yeah, to be honest, again.
Yeah.
You're now I understand. You're a full-time YouTuber. You can do the clickbait thing because, again, I haven't picked my top 5 Christmas songs. I just listened to lots of Christmas songs last night and picked out a bunch which I really like. I wasn't thinking, these are the best 5 Christmas songs ever. So I have a list with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 9 Christmas songs on it. So it's like, yeah, you know your stuff. I don't know if I can pick 5.
You were the one who suggested that we would pick top 5.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
I guess
I did exactly what you asked me to do.
I guess I'm all mouth and no trousers, as they say. I talk the talk, but I can't walk the walk. I said top 9,
Not this
damn
time,
it.
at least. Like, it's fine. It's a classic thing. Like I was supposed to pick 5, but here's top 20 of them.
Actually, I remember on all the lists that we've done, I've struggled to keep to the numbers, haven't I? So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's get on with it then.
Let's get rolling.
Kick us off because your choices are going to be weird, as you already teased earlier.
Well, some of them yes, some of them not. But I think I started last time with the gear of the year, so please, you do the honors or something like that.
Okay. And throughout our time on CatPick Fridays, I've become known across the globe as a connoisseur of great music taste, as a man of knowledge and integrity. And my first choice on this list, therefore, is Hanson, What Christmas Means to Me. And I've lost that reputation I had built painfully in an instant. But for some reason, well, I've always been a huge Hanson fan. I was a massive fan back in the mid-90s when I was a kid. You know, they're roughly the same age as me. I'm about the same age, a little bit younger than Taylor Hanson, the keyboard player and singer. And they were three brothers when they came out in the mid-90s. And I have two brothers as well. And I thought we could make a band called Morgan and become one of the best things to ever exist. But that didn't happen now, did it? But anyway, Hanson have a Christmas album. And they have a version of What Christmas Means to Me, which is more famously performed by Stevie Wonder, of course. And I just love the way that song's performed and arranged. It's so full of energy. And the key thing with Christmas songs is it puts me in the Christmas mood. And that one always does. So... again, it's not number one. This is just a top 5 list. But yeah, Hanson, What Christmas Means to Me is on that list.
Yeah. I need to listen to that album. Obviously, Hanson has a Christmas album. Everyone has a Christmas album.
It's from the 90s as well. I think it's from like 97 or something. So it's pretty old now.
Oh, but yeah, that's old.
Very good. Back when they were still also more able to sing in their higher voices. And that gives it more of an angelic Christmas feel, I guess. Yeah. You know, I mean, the Stevie Wonder version is great as well. But for me, I connect with the Hanson version a bit more.
Yeah, I got to check out both versions. Actually, I have a playlist on my phone that I use when I play my electronic drums. I kind of jam to the songs, and I actually got a few Hanson songs there as well because, as I mentioned, they're great and they have amazing songs. There are a few songs that are really cool to drum to.
Yeah, I was going to say songs like Mbop, they actually have really sort of quite complex drum patterns. I wonder how much Zach Hanson was really playing all those drums. I mean, he's a great drummer, but he was like 11 or something when their first records came out. If he was playing all of that stuff himself, wow, very, very talented indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't be sure, but yeah, good choice. Good choice. I'm going with an absolute classic as my first pick, and that's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and more specifically, the Frank Sinatra version. I guess there's several of those available, but the way he sings and it's just especially with those a bit more older recordings, there's the sound of those paired with his incredibly iconic voice, and just he was such an amazing singer. The more I learn about singing, the more I'm starting to appreciate singers like he was, because that is incredibly difficult to replicate what he was doing. And yeah, just an absolute classic, gets me in the right Christmas mood, from the first notes.
Yep, I have to agree. That's on my honorable mentions list. So,
nice. I don't have an honorable mentions list, by the way.
Well, no, it's just
prepared.
I'm lying. It's on my list, but my list is too big, so it's an honorable mention because I'm not going to put it in my top 5.
Panic editing your list
while you were talking, I was frantically just trying to choose 5 from my list. And I think I've got it, but yeah, we'll do honorable mentions as well. But my second choice is going to take us a bit more back to guitars and rock and roll music. And it is a modern Christmas song, and it is by The Darkness. And it's called Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End. And it's a funny, silly, typical Darkness take on a Christmas song. So some of you watching this might not have heard it, but give it a try. It's really, really cool. And it's probably at least 10 years old now as well. So it's not super new, but I was really happy when they came out with it and they did a Christmas song that has kind of become accepted as a Christmas song. Because these days, all the pop artists do Christmas songs, but they don't tend to come back in future years, whereas the Darkness one is on my kind of annual playlist rotation now. So very, very cool song. And yeah, we both love the Darkness. They're a great, great band. And one thing that we haven't mentioned in our recent news sections is the fact that Justin Hawkins recently switched amp companies. He's moved to Laney and has a new signature head coming. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, you should. We kind of just missed that. Sorry.
We did. Yep.
Our audience, please forgive us. Yeah, my second pick is another classic. I think all of these are kind of classics. I'm a classic guy. I'm a classically trained guy, at least, I guess. I started with classical piano back in the day. Yeah, Silent Night, though probably more the Finnish version, actually, which isn't in Finnish. Like, it's not direct translation to they don't sing about Silent Night, but
what do they sing about?
It's a
polar bears in the night.
Polar bears in the night, almost at least. I think it's not Silent Night. It's jouluyö, juhlayö. So it's like Christmas night, celebration night. It doesn't rhyme that well in English.
Am I right in saying that you have a cover of that on your channel already, right?
Yes, I do. And I was just about to mention that it is something that you might hear or will hear on the live stream concert we're doing as well next week. More on that just later. I'm going to promote it soon. But yeah, an absolute classic. Also a great song to learn guitar on. There's like 3 chords or something. So yeah, there's 3 different chords in the whole song. So it's nice and easy, unless you go for like some complex versions. But
yeah, the gent version is quite difficult to master. But
it doesn't. The night doesn't sound so silent anymore.
No, it doesn't. But there you go. That's a cool choice. I notice already that you're going more classic and I'm going more not classic, but hey, that's what we were raised on, I guess. That's why it's wonderful to make these lists and check out what the other person says. But my third choice is actually a little bit more vintage. It's an American one. It's Andy Williams, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, which is, again, similar to the Sinatra swinging big orchestral number territory, just an absolute classic. And I remember it from so many Christmas movies when I was a kid and stuff like that. And it puts me right in the mood. It's got a really big, catchy chorus, and it's another one that I can put on when I'm putting the tinsel and the baubles on the Christmas tree and having a glühwein and stuff like that. Love it.
Nice. Sounds good. My third choice is Gloria in Excelsis Deo, but a very specific version by a Finnish artist called Anna Eriksson. I don't like the kind of classic version of that song where it's very kind of operatic and it's incredibly hard to sing along because there's like crazy like vocal lines there and stuff like that. It's not like a sing-along song in any way. But her specific version, there's like a cool like a dark element. The arrangement is like fairly dark until it opens up into like this big almost kind of U2 style anthem thing. And we actually like a couple of years ago we did the Christmas special show at like a local huge church, thousands of people, like huge light setups and projections on the walls, like videos were running on the like 40-meter high walls and stuff like that. And we got to play that song to all that craziness. Oh yeah, we had like people with like breathing fire there as well, like a huge spectacle basically. And we played that version of that song, and I have such fond memories of the whole project. Plus, I like the arrangement, so yeah, it's partially because of me getting to play that in front of lots of people and being part of a great band, like one of the most professional projects I've been part of, which is really cool. But yeah, cool song, great arrangement. Can you say a Christmas song is cool? I just said it. A cool Christmas song.
You can have a cool Christmas song. I mean, I've had a couple on my list. The Darkness one is a cool Christmas song. And the next one that I'm going to pick, well, the Hanson one is a cool Christmas song. But the next one I'm going to pick is a cool one as well. It's another slightly older but rocking one. It's by Brenda Lee and it's called Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And it's just a fun, older, Christmas song, I guess, from the 50s or something like that. I enjoy it. I can't say too much about it. I'm not familiar with Brenda Lee as an artist in any way, apart from this Christmas song, but it's one that goes on again every year and just gets me in the mood.
Yep. Yeah, I think with a lot of these songs for me as well, it's like, I've listened to all of these songs so many times that I don't actively listen to them, but I kind of pick the songs that get me in the right mood. And I think a lot of people actually do that with Christmas music. So yeah, fourth pick is En etsi valtaa loistoa, and this is something that has not been translated to other languages than maybe Swedish, because it's been written by Jean Sibelius, probably the most famous composer from Finland ever, the classical composer. And then the lyrics are by Sakari Topelius, who is one of the most famous poet, writers, or just writers, lyricist in Finland. And it's an old song, but an absolute staple in like Finnish Christmas culture. And it also embodies a lot of things that are kind of like Finnish Christmas isn't like, oh, jolly, we are having fun with the family and everything, like everyone is gathering around. Finnish Christmas is about, oh, half of my family is dead. I wish I could back to those childhood Christmases. And the rough translation of the song name is that I'm not looking for like power or glory or anything like that. And it embodies a lot of things about Finnish Christmas where it's like, oh, life is tough, but at least there's a little bit of Christmas. And yeah, there's so many songs on the radio right now playing like with the theme of like, hey, my grandparents and my parents are dead. I wish I could go back to childhood Christmases. Welcome to Finland, people. That's what we do here.
Happy days. Sounds great. Yeah, and I guess it's something which is not going to appeal to anyone who's not a Finnish speaker in that sense. You know, with the German family, I get to see a bunch of German Christmas songs or hymns or psalms or whatever you call them every year, and those are always interesting to me. But I tried to stay more upbeat for my list, I guess. And that takes us to the last song, which is actually the least upbeat of all of them, and is possibly and is often regarded as being the best Christmas song of all time. And I find it incredibly emotionally poignant. And it is The Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues, which is just an incredible song. It's a really, really amazing duet between the singer Shane MacGowan and Kirsty MacColl. And it just tells a story of these two actually not very nice people around Christmas. And it's just an incredible piece of music. And I find the drums incredibly powerful as well during the long outro section. So it looks like you're maybe not familiar with that, Vlad. And if not, change that immediately.
I have heard the song, but I just cannot get into my head. Like I cannot get it into my head right now. I'm trying to. I'm going to listen to it right away because I want to remind myself. Like I should know the song, and I've listened to the song, but
yeah, I would sing it to you, of course, but I think that kind of thing is something we can't really do on YouTube video. So just maybe
we can try.
Can you put a Spotify playlist together of the songs that we've selected, like a CatPick Fridays Christmas mix or something?
Yeah, I think I can. Let me write that down so I don't actually forget to do that.
Yeah, because that take like
I'm going to drop a link to that.
Yeah, but yeah, the Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. It's an incredible song. I can't say that I consume it and enjoy it in the same light-hearted way as the others, because it has a deeper meaning behind it and a deeper sadness to it as well. But it's just, it's a great, great song. I really, really like it.
Yep. Nice. I'll be checking it out after this. And actually, I love the idea of a Spotify playlist because you'll get to hear those lovely, lovely Finnish songs as well. And yeah, my last pick is, I don't have an honorable mentions list as somebody has. One of us has that. Yeah. Maybe I think listeners could tell or can tell that we might need a little bit of break because Yeah. We're not like, usually we're like very precise with this stuff, but not today. Yeah, my last pick is O Jouluyö, or also known as O Holy Night. And I don't enjoy like, or maybe like this song has worn out on me over the years, but this song is like, no matter what version you're listening to, it's basically heavy metal. And I remember like as a kid, this was one of the songs that kind of stood out to me because I was just getting into metal. It's very like, especially the chorus, you need like a huge vocal range to perform this, and you go really high in some of the parts. And yeah, it's basically like, no matter what version you listen to, it's like heavy metal played on organ or with a band or whatever. And a kid/teenager me love that. And actually there's like a whole album series in Finland of metal covers of Christmas songs, and those guys do huge tours every year in Finland and sell out all the places they go to, and that's like a real thing, and they do that every year, and they're doing it this year as well. And yeah, but that's a whole different discussion. Yeah, Oh Holy Night, I like, it's heavy metal singed with classical voices. It's very theatrical as well. That's why I enjoy it.
Kind of interesting. Yeah. I've learned quite a few new Christmas songs that I need to listen to from your list. And I would also recommend anyone else listening to this to write in the comments what your favorite Christmas songs are, and maybe Vlad can add a few more to the CatPick Fridays Spotify Christmas playlist, because definitely people coming from different parts of the world have different things that they listen to, you know. And I think, you know, probably I've picked a lot of American/English ones, which will have more of a global appeal, but it's always cool to hear different regional variations and other things that we just might not have heard of as well. So please write your favorite Christmas songs in the comments, and your favorite gear of the year. Just write comments.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we've done the top 5. Let me give you the 4 others that we haven't talked about that were on my list, my short list, because why not? Honorable mentions. And there are so many other Christmas songs that I do listen to and enjoy, but these are 4 which I wanted to put on because I genuinely enjoy them to an extent. So the first one is All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Don't judge me. The next one...
I'm trying not
I mean,
to.
that's probably the most famous Christmas song around these days, and it's started to go back to number 1 every year at Christmas time since, you know, Spotify and streaming have, you know, dominated the charts. So, you know, it's not one for cool guitar players to admit that they like, but I like it. And when it starts, the first time that song comes on the radio in late November or early December or whatever, you know that Christmas is coming up. And Mariah Carey is also very happy because she starts to earn millions of dollars again for a month. Yeah. So she's cool with that as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. I genuinely enjoy that song. It's another one which you also can't sing along to because of the way she does things.
That's true.
Yeah, very cool song. Bobby Helms, Jingle Bell Rock, which is almost like a male version of the Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. It's another older, maybe 40s or 50s American Christmas song, a little bit more rock and rolly. Very, very cool. And 2 more kind of American classics. White Christmas by Bing Crosby, which is the classic it's Christmas song. Classic. Always arouses great emotions and puts you in the mood. And Let It Snow by Dean Martin, which is another one which just does that Christmas thing for me. As soon as you hear it, it transports you to a certain place and time, makes you think about family and being inside while there's snow outside. It gives you that kind of cliched, beautiful version of Christmas utopia, which in Finland probably exists, but in other warmer countries doesn't. But yeah, those are Christmas songs that almost made my top 5, but didn't quite, because Hanson are better.
Just a random handsome note at the end.
Yeah.
Not a ransom note, a Hanson note.
A Hanson ransom note. We'll call it that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like those. Like, I think Bing Crosby's like Christmas stuff is also something that we've listened to. I think there's few album, like compilation albums on Spotify, which has like a bunch of these legendary singers like this. Yeah, there's Sinatra, Bing Crosby, some others as well. Like those albums also get me into the right mood right away.
Yeah.
I'm kind of moving more into that direction from all the Finnish angsty Christmas songs. But it's just, yeah, they just embody the Finnish culture so well that I had to have a few of those on the list. So, yeah, and we actually got a comment from Mikko on the Facebook live stream. He mentions that the classic American Christmas songs have made jazzy chords the sound of Christmas, which is true, I'd say. Kind of. So,
yeah, what is it? The special Christmas song chord. I've seen a video someone did on it. I think it's like a dominant seventh chord or something that you have to slip in and it suddenly becomes like a Christmassy feel.
Yeah, it right away feels like Christmas. Yeah. And now I want to sing a song that kind of says that. Unfortunately, I'm hearing Michael Bublé singing that, which I don't like. I have a mixed relation with that guy. He's an amazing singer, but also I don't know. He kind of, yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. Yeah, let's not say anything to ruin the mood or get into fights about Michael Bublé. Or
Sounds like you have some mysterious, undisclosed beef with Bublé,
yes,
which maybe we can talk about in 2022 as therapy.
You kind of, well, like our first CatPick Fridays episode after the break will be like a therapy session. We'll just air out all of our frustrations from Christmas time or something like that.
I look forward to it already.
So, yeah, definitely. But yeah, here we are. Christmas time is upon us. We'll be like officially off at least next week, maybe for 2 weeks. We are not 100% sure. Probably for 2 weeks. I don't remember how. Like because of Christmas time and everything being on a weekend, everything is a bit murky. But we will let you know. And meanwhile, there will be some other things happening CatPick Fridays wise. I have some ideas at least. So you will definitely get the content, even if we're not presenting you the latest and hottest gear news and stuff like that. So there's that. And yeah, first year of CatPick Fridays. I think this started in like February, March this year. Okay. We are 41 episodes in. 41 episodes in.
It's a lot.
And I think you've been in way over half of them already. So, yay.
Feels like it. Yeah.
Whatever that.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, I know.
Feels like I've done over 25. That's for sure.
That's true. Yeah, I think you've done. Like this week, Christmas episode, not Christmas, like the summer episodes, which I didn't add to the official episode count. So there's like 4 more already. So I guess kind of we're at 45, but who's counting? I am apparently, but you know. Yeah, that wraps up CatPick Fridays 2021 for us. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And I'm trying to think what was my highlight during this show this year. I gotta say all the interviews and guests we've had, those have been like some of the highlights of this year, for me at least. And I definitely want to have more people joining the show every now and then, because this is fun.
Yeah, it's always great to have someone else on, especially when they have some kind of specialist knowledge about stuff. Most recently, we had Mike on from CGS, an amazing guest. Really, really love chatting with Mike. And we've had Eirik on, and we've had Trey on. Who else have we had on?
Perry was in one of the episodes.
Perry as well. That was amazing. That was a great episode about life from the perspective of someone who's headlining festivals and stuff. So that was also really, really cool. How can we top that next year? We need to get some really top tier guests on. Let's start with Michael Bublé and Joe Bonamassa on the same show.
And talk about their approach to Christmas songs.
Yeah, why not?
In February. I'd love that.
Yeah, no, we'll get Michael Bublé to talk exclusively about 59 Les Pauls and Joe Bonamassa to talk about Christmas songs, and we'll see where we get.
That's the plan. And if we somehow end up at NAMM 2022, like both of us will be there, we'll have to find time to do something special there on the NAMM floor as well. But
yes, I'm down.
Quite a lot of things need to happen before that will happen, but you can always dream.
You can indeed. That's what we can wish for.
Yes, maybe that's our Christmas wish. Do you wish on Christmas? I don't know anymore. So
I don't think so, but you can make wishes and resolutions around New Year. So
that is true.
Maybe that's something to kind of hope for next year.
NAMM 2022 and Michael Bublé talking about 15 Les Pauls. Those are the only things I wish for. And on that note, thank you so much for this year. And it's been a crazy, crazy ride in many ways. And a lot of those ways have been fun. Something like that. Yeah, it's time for a break, but we'll be back next year, which doesn't sound that dramatic because it's only like 14 days until it's next year. So not too bad, not too bad. I have no idea where I'm going with all of this, but yeah, thank you. And thank you, Rich, for making this show twice as fun than just me by babbling about stuff.
Yep. Thank you for babbling about stuff.
That summarizes our show pretty well, babbling about stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Have a great holiday season. Try not to overeat too much. I know I'll be failing at that, but I'll try maybe a little bit. We shall see. And yeah, have a great holiday season. See you next year. Bye, podcast.
Bye, podcast.